AP Chemistry, Unit 3.9, Separation of Solutions and Mixtures. So, filtration can be used to separate an insoluble solid from a liquid. Think of like a coffee filter paper. We use other types of filtration, other types of filters, but filtration will catch sediment or actual solids, things that are not soluble inside of the solvent. For that, we also have evaporation. Evaporation is going to be used to separate a dissolved solid from a solution. So when you can't get it to run through a filter and be separated that way, you can use evaporation and go ahead and get rid of the solvent via evaporation. And then you are left with just your solute left over, as it will remain as a solid after the evaporation process has taken place. You also have recrystallization. Recrystallization is used to separate a solid from a solution when there's large differences in solubility at different temperatures. This is also used for purification. So if we were trying to go ahead and get something that is mixed together, but we know that one of the solutes is pretty insoluble at room temperature, whereas the other one is very soluble at room temperature. If we go ahead, add some hot water, get that mixed solute set to both dissolve into the solvent, and then allow it to cool back down, the stuff that will recrystallize out will be that solute of interest, the thing that has a lower solubility at that lower temperature. Distillation is used to separate substances of different boiling points. We will see that pretty frequently when we're distilling alcohol. This is, again, relying on different boiling points. Methanol boils at a lower temperature than ethanol. It can also be used if you need to recapture the solvent. So if you want to reuse the solvent for whatever reason, or it's not safe to evaporate that into the general air and evacuate it via the vent hood, or just in the larger lab for whatever reason, you can use distillation to go ahead and recollect the solvent that has now been separated from the solute. Extraction can be used if you are trying to separate a soluble substance in a mixture using a different solvent. Okay, this relies on different solubilities of those different solutes in different solvents, and you are going to be using immiscible solvents to separate the layers. So you're going to want something that will dissolve into one of the solvents better than the other one, so it will go ahead and separate out, and you are going to want to be able to distinguish between the layers of the two solvents that you're going to be utilizing, and you don't want those solvents to be miscible together, so they shouldn't mix together. You should be able to have like a clear separation in between your solvents there. And then we also have chromatography. Chromatography is used to separate a mixture of liquids that have different intermolecular forces and therefore have different interactions with a given solvent. Okay, it cannot be used to collect the components. Instead, it's just to kind of identify the different pieces that are within them. But we don't get to collect at the end any of our solutes that we were separating via chromatography. An example of what an extraction setup could possibly look like, we have this glassware setup here where you are going to have two immiscible solvents. You will have a stopper, and then you would carefully drain off the this blue solvent and try to make sure that none of that red solvent was able to escape out of that bottom stopper, and thereby allowing for collection of the different solute that was more miscible in the blue solvent rather than the red. For chromatography, what this will generally look like for thin layer chromatography as well as paper chromatography, we will have something similar to this where we have a beaker, we have either a piece of paper or a TLC plate. there will be some amount of solvent at the bottom here, and then just a single dot of the substance that is being analyzed. Specifically, that dot needs to be above the solvent line. If the actual solvent touches the substance being analyzed, it's ruined. You need to go ahead and start over. But for chromatography, specifically the component that travels the furthest up either the paper or the TLC plate has the strongest interactions with the mobile phase, which is going to be your solvent, and the weakest interactions with your stationary phase, which is either going to be that TLC plate or the piece of paper. So if it is a non-polar solvent and a polar TLC plate, and my solution carried all the way up, and I was able to see a couple of dots here. Whatever is at the top, since my solvent was nonpolar, are going to be other nonpolar things, and at the bottom would be other polar things that kind of got trapped and interacted with the polar TLC plate.